Hello everybody, my name is Tex Eternal and I have played a game. This game is called a bit of a brief history of me and Sonic games. My first ever game ever was Sonic Rush for the Nintendo DS. I got it one Christmas morning along with that silver brick that was the classic DS. And the only other time that I really played a Sonic game was when I played it at a youth club. I played Sonic Unleashed on the Xbox. That's really the only reason why I went there. And then I tried to build the funds to buy the game for the Xbox Connect that we had downstairs, and I never did it. That's really my only sort of experience with Sonic games, except for Sonic Forces, but we don't need to talk about that. But for years I have watched people play Sonic games on YouTube, and I decided one day, do you know what? Okay, I am just gonna go through the old ones and I'm gonna play them all, and I'm gonna make a silly little YouTube video to document them. So here we are. Sonic Adventure 2 is a game of two parts, one being the hero story where you play as Sonic, Knuckles and Tails, and the other being the more dark and edgy side of the story where you play as the dark and edgy characters like Shadow and Rouge and Dr. Eggman. The hero story starts with Sonic falling out of the sky after escaping a military helicopter to commence the most coolest you have ever seen in your life, whilst causing millions of dollars in damage and being chased by quite literally the most oversized truck you have ever seen in your life. After we completed the first stage, we are then thrown into our first boss battle, which I accidentally deleted the footage for. The footage of me beating the boss. Here's footage of me failing. So yeah, but let me describe it to you. Big robot with two legs. These are legs. It fly around. It fly around. And then it go. You go. Bonk. Kaboom. Boss fight ends. We're then introduced to Shadow, who is the real MVP of this franchise. Although it is the Sonic franchise, it's actually the Shadow one. He just lets Sonic uses it. He then does some big boss edgelord shit and then teleports away like it's no big fucking deal. Once again, he is the GOAT. Head to the next stage with Knuckles, where we are introduced to Rouge, or Rouge. I can never tell which one is which. Luke is trying to steal the Master Emerald, but out of nowhere, Dr. Eggman just comes up and swoops it up like a crane game, and then Knuckles just immediately assumes, oh, I better stop Dr. Eggman from stealing my emerald. So what does he do? He smashes it. He smashes it into a million tiny pieces. Commences the worst part of this game, the treasure hunting levels. The treasure hunting levels can go and die in a pit of fire that is so deep and so cavernous that not even the light of hell's flames could reach the bottom of it. I hate these levels. They're awful. I fucking hate them, but I'm going to describe them to you. Anyway, they consist of following an emerald radar around to either dig, climb, or fly over to a broken piece of emerald, and all the while getting clues from these little robots, and so on and so forth. These levels suck, mainly because of how annoying it is to try and look around this environment with no camera control. The only camera control you have is nothing. It's all just sort of like you move the character, the camera moves with you, but when you can't see the emerald shard because the emerald shard is behind you, but your camera won't turn around because you can't get a proper look at it, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And there is a level later on which I will describe more in detail that is the worst one of these levels. But anyway, editing text here. The level that I was talking about was the timed rogue one that you have to do, and you have to find all of the Chaos Emeralds before the island explodes. It's literally painful. It's the worst one in the game, and I never want to play or be reminded of it ever again. Thank you. We find ourselves with Tails in his plane just flying over the ocean until we spot Dr. Eggman cornering Amy, and then Tails transforms his plane into a freaking mech, and then we go into our second boss fight against Dr. Eggman. We then proceed into the easiest levels of this game, the Tails levels. These levels are good. They are the easiest levels of sort of the whole game. The only downside is that pressing B, the manual fire cannon that you have, kind of sucks. But other than that, it's alright. And after freeing Sonic, he then runs through this harbour thing and Shadow the Hedgehog. We then have our first fight with him and then beat the shit out of him. After which we overhear through Shadow's walkie-talkie that Dr. Eggman has told him to run because the island is going to explode. We then find ourselves with Knuckles in Pumpkin Hill. This place looks like Tim Burton's wet dream, and it is one of the worst levels. After beating this godforsaken stage, we are then interrupted by a broadcast by Dr. Eggman, who tells us, "Holy shit, did he just blow up the fucking moon?" After Eggman has just ruined every surfer's life, we then go through a Tails and Knuckles stage to find out that Dr. Eggman is hiding out on definitely not the Death Star. It's a space colony called Ark that looks like Dr. Eggman and just so happens to shoot a planet-killing laser. Nothing at all copyrighted about this whatsoever. Now you may be wondering to yourselves, how did we find out this information? Well, we intercepted the President of the United States limo, obviously. Duh. We then discover that Eggman has a secret base in the pyramids where we go to, and we get two really cool boss fights in my opinion. We get one against Knuckles and we also get one against this big ass stone golem, or the egg golem with Sonic. These boss fights are really cool. These are my favourite ones in this game. They're also the best ones. The stone golem one is really fun. I like this one a lot. Now, please allow me to rant for a moment, because after defeating these bosses and defeating this whole stage, we then take a rocket ship up to definitely not the Death Star, and we then proceed into, in my opinion, the worst stages in this game. If I had a gun to my head and you told me that I needed to play Crazy Gadget or Final Rush, I would pull the trigger myself. They are god awful. No, they're not god awful. That's too harsh. They are just so janky. And do you know what? These games, right, notorious for not controlling very well, being sort of jank, not the best to ever, you know, play. And then you pair that with levels that invert everything. Like you're running up walls, running upside down on ceilings, and then all the controls are sort of semi-backwards. Paired with a camera that you can't move. It's aggravating. I must have done Final Rush at least 11 times. Because I hated it. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to say how many times I did Crazy Gadget. But yeah, it's not great. And the thing that would always get me was just jumping onto something, but the game being like, nah, you missed. And so then you just fall to your death, and then you have to restart the level all over again. Which, bear in mind, I didn't have any cheats. I didn't want to do any cheats. So I just constantly had to keep restarting the stage over again, because I only ever had 4 lives, and then I would waste those lives, and then I would have to redo it all over again. After all these levels, we finally face Shadow in what is basically just a drag race where we hit each other a couple of times. Shadow does his cool, you know, best boy moves. Yeah. And then we save the day. The Dark Story is basically the same game, but from the perspective of the villains, i.e. Dr. Eggman, Shadow, and Rouge, or Rogue, whatever you want to say. The story sort of hits the same beats as the hero one, but I'll just give you all the important things for like a TLDR. Dr. Eggman breaks into a military base to find his grandfather's secret weapon to find the GOAT himself, Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow then escapes the base and the military think he's Sonic, and so that's why the military's after Sonic as well. Fast forward a bit and we see Eggman finding his grandfather's secret base in the pyramids. We find out more about Shadow's backstory and some girl called Maria. We then see them blow up the moon. Rouge is a government spy and Shadow might not be the real Shadow. And then we go through the hellish space levels again, and then we fight Sonic in the same drag race. In this side of the story, you know, Eggman wins. Now, I know that there is a final part where, you know, it's the conclusion of the story, but I'm not gonna play it. I'm not doing that. You can, yeah, because I'll have to go through the Sonic levels again. I'm not doing that. My conclusion is that this game has its moments. It really does, and you can say that about a lot of things, but I feel like this game has less of its moments and more of not its moments. It's okay. It's you know, I went in expecting, you know, I knew what I was gonna get when I started playing. This game has its moments, but I feel like it has less of its moments and more of definitely not. This is not the moment. I didn't realize how frustrated I would get with it, and there were genuinely times where I was like, I would fucking rather fight Melania. Positives I want to point out though, I enjoyed the shadow levels more than I enjoyed the Sonic ones. I think that's partly because of bias, because he's my favourite, but also as well, I also preferred the Eggman stages to the Tails stages, so I don't know, you know, where that lands me. I have to mention this because I said it earlier in the video. Where this game shines is its soundtrack. 100%. It is the best part of this game. There are songs in this game that are so iconic and so etched into video game soundtracks that they literally are up there with some of the greatest songs to ever come out of this industry ever. You know, you have things like City Escape. City Escape is such an iconic song itself. It could literally be up there with like the greats. You know, all the Knuckles stages, you know, although I fucking hated them, all the songs in the Knuckles stages I kind of vibe with. It sounds like if MF Doom did YouTube parody songs about video games and they were fire. That's what it sounds like. Also, the Shadow songs, I know I'm glazing Shadow again. They have great, you know, guitars, heavy riff, pumping. There's one song that literally sounds like it should be in fucking Blade, and it was sick. Can you tell I like Shadow? Should I just start singing 3 Days Grace? Will that just cement it into the fact that I like Shadow? So yeah, this game has its moments, and I think that if you enjoy this game, all the power to you. You know, if you grew up with this game and it's part of your childhood and it's nostalgic, then, you know, play it, enjoy it. You know, do what you love with this game. You know, but for me personally, this game is not it. You know, for me, I don't particularly, you know, do I see myself playing this game, you know, just to play it? No, I don't. I don't think I will, you know, and it'll probably be the last time I will play it. But I still am going to go through, like I said, I still am going to go through some of the old ones, i.e. the sort of GameCube era games. Cue dolphin. Cue a dolphin sound just off in the distance. This game has its moments, and if you love this game, if you grew up with this game and you think it's one of the best Sonic games out there, all the power to you. That is so good for you. I'm so happy for you that you feel this way about this game, but for me, it's not it. It's not it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, and hey, why don't you go and subscribe? I'm sorry you had to witness that. It's okay if you don't want to subscribe after that, I understand. It's coming soon. I will be making other videos that aren't Sonic related, I do promise. So yeah, if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Please leave a like on this video as well. Comment down in the section. Comment down in the comment section what was your favourite part? What do you like about you know, if you've played this game, what is your favourite part of this game, all that kind of spiel. And yeah, and if you'll watch this all the way through, thank you very much. This is my first video, my first YouTube video, my first official one, quote unquote official. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will be seeing you soon. My name is Tex Eternal. Goodbye. I'm just speaking Klingon at this point. I'm just spouting out Klingon. Geonosian.